An interview question, what is your biggest weakness, is very common. However, not a lot of people get it right. And I, during my more than a decade-long HR and recruitment career, have heard a lot of truly bizarre answers. So guys, if you want to know how to answer this question in the correct way and also things not to say, stay tuned to the very end of this video. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Victoria, and here on this channel I talk all things work and career. So if that is something of interest to you, please do subscribe to get tips on how to find and land your dream job and succeed in your career every Monday and Thursday. Talking about things that you are not great at or don't do very well with in general is not easy, but especially so in the job interview. When answering what is your biggest weakness interview question, you must be careful on how you answer it, as you don't want to come across as incapable and say something that will hinder your ability to do the job. So what does the employer really want to know when asking this question? When you're asked about your weaknesses, the employer wants to know whether you are qualified to do the job. The hiring manager is also looking for indicators that show you've been able to learn new tasks and handle new challenges. So this question is an opportunity to show that you've got the right capabilities to do the job. There are several ways to answer the what is your biggest weakness interview question. Even though the question is about your weaknesses, your answer should always be framed around your strength and showcasing what makes you a great employee. Option 1 to answer what is your biggest weakness question is to talk about non-essential skills. You can do this by analyzing the key skills and strengths that are required to the position that you are interviewing for, and then coming up with the honest weaknesses that are not essential for success in that particular job. So for example, if you are a copywriter, you can say something like this. Numbers have not always been my strong suit. Fortunately, as a copywriter, I can mainly focus on the creative process of writing. However, in recent years, I have started getting similar with digital analytics to better understand performance of the articles on the websites that I write for. And I have been actually really enjoying studying the analytics and trends. This type of answer works really well because you are focusing on the skill that doesn't impact the success of the job, but also shows that you are curious, willing to learn and improve. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what is the one non-essential skill that you could use to answer this question. Option 2 to answer what is your biggest weakness interview question is to talk about skills that you have improved on. When answering this question, you can choose a skill that you have greatly improved on during your previous job or are working on to improve at the moment. This will show the interviewer that you are self-aware and want to improve and develop. If you use this option, make sure not to talk about any skills that are critical or important for the position that you are interviewing for, as you don't want your qualifications to be questioned. For example, if you are a designer, you could say something like this. One skill that I have improved recently were my sales skills. As a graphic designer, I work with internal teams and don't have client exposure and don't do any selling in my role. However, as I do work closely with sales team, I felt that improving my sales skills could help me get a better understanding of their strategies. I took sales skills course online and now I feel much more comfortable in the sales meetings as I know exactly what's going on, and I feel that I am also more effective in communicating with the sales team. This response works really well as well because it clearly shows how the candidate has improved upon the skill that are needed to do the job effectively. Option number 3 to answer what is your biggest weakness interview question is to turn a negative into positive. For example, being in a rush to complete a project can be turned into a positive by framing it that you are a candidate who will make sure that projects are completed on time. Or maybe you are too detail oriented, that leads you to double check and triple check your work to make sure that it is at its best when it gets out. Regardless of what skill or trait you choose, it is very important to show that you are aware of these traits and are able to stop them from preventing you to do the job to the best of your abilities. Let's take the too much attention to details example. If this is one of your weaknesses, then you can say something like this. I want to make sure that the work that I do is the best quality possible, and it could turn into tendency to perfectionism, where I would spend very long time adjusting and tweaking things to make sure everything is perfect. I have now learned how to allocate my time effectively and understand which tasks would require or would benefit from this very high level of attention to detail. This answer works well because you show to the hiring manager that you have good time management skills to manage very detail-oriented projects. So just to give you some additional tips for the best response. Tip number 1, prepare for the response. It will be much easier for you to talk on the interview if you know what to say, or at least have an idea of a couple of different examples or answers. Tip number 2 is to be honest. It is important that every answer you give is tailored to your circumstances and examples, but this is one question that you definitely don't want to come across as not genuine. Tip number 3 is to turn negative into positive. Whatever option you choose to answer this question, make sure that your answer has a positive note and your weakness comes across as an accomplishment or a strength rather than weakness. Tip number 4, back up your answer with examples. Always have a good example to back up what you're saying. It is really quite embarrassing when a candidate makes a claim, but when asked to give some examples, they say, I can't think of any. Tip number 5, don't lose perspective. I am all for selling yourself in the interview, but be reasonable. Here are some bad examples that I have heard during my career. I think my biggest weakness is that people are intimidated by me as I tend to be better at most things than them. Or, my biggest weakness is that I probably care too much. Or, my biggest weakness is my efficiency. In my last job, my line manager found it hard to find tasks or projects for me as I got them done very quickly. And, of course, my favorite. You know, I have been thinking about it, and honestly, I don't have any weaknesses. You got the idea. If you guys want more tips on writing a resume or cover letter and some more interview tips, I have other videos where I cover all these topics, so make sure you go and check them out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, give it some love and share with your friends. Make sure to subscribe to get new tips every week on Mondays and Thursdays. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all a great day and a great week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.